Hello everyone! Today I will teach you how to make this coarse staple in the Czech cuisine, which are dumplings. The top favorite and the top Czech dishes, the top three, are all paired with the dumplings. So they are very popular, they are favored by many, so it's important to know how to make them. And when I moved to USA, of course I couldn't just go to regular grocery store and find dumplings as we would in the Czech Republic, because growing up we would never make them, because you can just go to regular grocery store and just buy the whole loaf of dumpling. So let's start with the recipe. We will need 1.5 cups milk, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon active dry yeast. And here this is very important because we will be using a flour that's a little more coarse than all-purpose flour, because in the Czech Republic we have 3 flours. I mean all-purpose flour, there are 3 different consistencies or coarseness. One is, as you know, all-purpose flour, very soft. The other one is medium, and the third one is almost as fine salt. And that's what you need to make these dumplings. So I was able to work with what we have here in the United States, and that's Wondra, and it's more coarse, and you will need 3.5 cups. If you are in the United States, you will need to purchase more than 1 container if you have the 13.5 ounces, because we will need more than 1. And if you are in other nations, I will put on my website, which I will put the link in the description on YouTube. Some viewers help me to know, for example, what flour you would use in Canada or Australia. So I will put it in on a website so you know which one to get instead, because I know that Wondra is just in the United States. Then we will need 1.5 teaspoon salt and 1 egg. So let's start with the recipe. First we will need to warm up 1.5 cups milk. So let's put it into a bowl. And I usually put it in a microwave for about 40 seconds. But you want it only lukewarm, so make sure that it's not hot, otherwise you will kill the yeast. I usually put my pinky in just to tell if it's lukewarm, and this is perfect. So let's add 1 teaspoon granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon active dry yeast. And now let's mix it together so the sugar can dissolve a little bit. And now you will need to set up the timer and let the yeast proof for 10 minutes. I will be using my KitchenAid mixer. So let's add 3.5 cups Wondra flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Let's mix it. And now let's add 1 egg. And now we will have to wait until our yeast is done proofing, and then we can add it into this mix. 10 minutes are done, so let's add our yeast mixture. And if there is any sugar on the bottom, make sure to put it in. We have here a dough hook attachment. So let's put it in, and now we will have to start on slow first so it doesn't splash everywhere. And let's add some speed. Now we have the dough already forming. This looks great. It shouldn't be too sticky. If it would be too sticky, you would need more flour, but this one is perfect. As you see, it formed a nice dough. I'm just trying to round it up a little bit. Now let's sprinkle a little Wondra flour on top. And now it has to rise, but we have to cover it up. And I have to tell you something. You have to have it rise for about 1 up to 2 hours. It should double in size. But what I like to do, I actually like to rise it in the oven, and I will preheat the oven to the lowest setting possible, turn it off, and then put it in for 1 hour, and it just does beautiful dough. Now I'll show you when the oven is preheated. So my oven's lowest setting is 170 Fahrenheit, and make sure that you turn it off before you put the dough in, because you don't want to bake it accidentally. But this will help rise nicely, especially when the house is cold, like during winter months. The oven was preheated to 170 and I just turned it off so it's nice and warm. And now we can put our dough with a towel inside. And now you close it and you let it rest in there for 1 hour. After 1 hour in a warm oven, it nicely risen, as you see, and it's still nice and warm, which is perfect. And now let's sprinkle some Wondra flour on our board. Let's get the dough out. And now let's knead it for a little bit to release the air. Now let's cut our dough into 3 equal parts. At least try to guess. Some might be bigger than others. That's okay. And now let's try to shape each into a dumpling shape. I'll work with it a little more. You're looking about 2 inches in thickness, so this is good. And try to have it as smooth as possible. And set it aside because we will let them rise again. You can press and just try to create a dumpling that's smooth. This is good. And now let them rise here for 15 more minutes. And while they're rising, you need to also cover them up and let the water in a pot bring the water to boil, and I will show you how. I want to show you 2 cooking methods. One is just regular pot with water, and we will add a pinch of salt. And here we will be steaming it. But first, with the pot, let's turn it on to high so we can bring it to boil. And with the steamer, I have the water right here, about up to here. And then you want to brush your steamer rack with some oil so the dumpling will not stick to the bottom. And now let's turn it on to about medium because we have less water in here, and we can already cover it. And we will now wait for the dumplings to be ready for the second rise. And as soon as it starts to boil, either of them, lower the flame to a gentle boil. Both of the pots are now boiling water. So just work with it, lower the flame as needed so you have the gentle boil. And I will now put dumplings into each. Into the steamer I will put one, and make sure that you put it in the middle because it will expand, so it has enough space. So I'm trying to have it in the middle. And now set up the timer for 20 minutes. With the steamer, you will not want to do anything with the dumpling. Do not flip it, do not look at it. You can look at it through see-through window if you have like the lid see-through, but other than that, do not disturb it and make sure that it's actually boiling. Now this one just got a big boil, so I lowered it. And gently, so you don't burn yourself, put the dumpling in and set up the timer for 10 minutes. You will not wanna put the lid on because this is the way that it works great. You will not have to worry about deflated dumplings, just to make sure that it's boiling, and it's great. It will be boiling nicely, and after 10 minutes we will flip it. Another thing, if you have a huge pot, which I sometimes use my big oval one, then you can put as many dumplings as the pot allows. So I usually just put all 3 in there, and then you just flip them all. But this way you will save time on boiling, because it total takes 20 minutes. So this way you will have them all cooked at the same time. You can even a little bit push it around if you feel that it got stuck to the side of the pot. Just carefully, and it will be good. After 10 minutes, let's flip the dumpling. And I have this amazing dumpling shovel that you can get in my shop, but let's cook it for 10 more minutes. After 20 minutes, this one is done, so I will lift the lid up, and it's a beauty. And now you have to poke it to release the steam, and let's transfer it into a board, and then I will brush it with oil because it tends to a little bit dry up. It's not as the one in a water, so it needs to be brushed. This one is also done, so I will get it out, and we will also need to poke it to release the steam, but this one does not need to be brushed. And I still have one to cook, so I will put it into water. Here it goes. So I still need to brush the one from a steamer. You can do melted butter or oil. And also smoother the dumplings are before they go in, and smoother they will come out. So I have some openings a little bit here, but that's fine. Doesn't change the flavor and the taste. And now I will wait for the last one. And also I wanted to let you know, you have to wait now for 5 minutes to be able to slice them. And you can slice them traditionally, which is with a thread, like our grandmas used to do, or with a serrated knife. And I will show you when the 5 minutes will pass, how it looks when you cut it. 5 minutes have passed, so I will slice it so you see it. I have the serrated knife. This is the one from the steamer. And let me show you. See how it looks on the cut? It's beautiful. Here it is. And this one is from the pot, and look how pretty it is. It is actually not soggy, just a little bit, so it's amazing. Here are the dumplings, and I'm still waiting for the last one. But I also wanted to let you know that I made a video how to reheat them and how to store them. So I will put the link in the description so you can check it out. And now, if you follow my steps, then you should be able to make such a beauties yourself. So if you do, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye guys.